Good morning. I am Amy Zucker Morgenstern. My pronouns are they or she. You are very welcome here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto. We gather here, our different paths entwined, to deepen our spiritual lives, nourishing connection, learning from each other, caring for each other, tending to our world. Everyone here in cold and flu season, masks are not required but are strongly encouraged. We express our mutual respect by supporting each other's decisions about masking and other health measures. For example, today I have a bit of a cold, so I'm going to keep my mask on when I'm not speaking or song leading. And after the service, I'll probably give you a bow rather than shake hands, and you will appreciate it in a few days when you don't have a cold. If you're here in person and you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or UUCPA, this congregation, stop by the welcome table with the blue tablecloth, and Autrey would be happy to answer your questions. You can leave your contact information with him if you want to receive notifications of upcoming events. And if this is the week you want to join the congregation, you can also do that there today. Folks online, you have links. I'm not sure if we have a greeter there today. In the Zoom room, but there are links there for you to follow to get all that information on the website. And again, tell us your info. We promise we won't spam you. We'll just send you a weekly update of things going on here. A few announcements. The support group for those living with chronic illness or pain welcomes you in the fireside room after today's service. Don't suffer alone. The 2024 Winter Holidays brochure is available. Looks like this. It's also available on the web, and you really want to make sure you look at this week because in a few days, the mini holiday events at UUCPA begin. You would not want to miss any. At last week's congregational meeting, we voted to fund our dream and continue with the full project of renovating the kitchen and choir room and greening our heating and cooling systems in the main hall here. Thanks to rebates from the city and others, the additional portion needed from the congregation is $300,000. If you have already pledged the capital campaign, thank you. You might consider, and I ask you to consider, continuing your pledge for a fourth year. People gave on a 3-year pledge, so making it a fourth year, that would more than fulfill what we need. And of course, if you have not pledged, maybe you came since we did that campaign, it's not too late. Simply email the confidential account pledge@uucpa.org or fill out a pledge card at the greeter table any Sunday morning. We'll get that where it needs to go. Finally, I have some musical notes. Okay, first of all, so glad to welcome our guest choir director, Andrew Hathaway. So glad to have him here today while Bruce is traveling. And also the great songs pieces that Stephen is going to play are not in your order of service, so I want to quickly tell music mavens what they are. The prelude is Danza della Pastora, which he assures me means dance of the pasture, but it also means dance of the minister. It does. I will not dance, but he will be playing that piece by Ernesto Halfter. For the offertory, it's Dance of the Reed Flutes from Tchaikovsky, from the Nutcracker, and the postlude is Weeping Willow by Scott Joplin. Now you know. And now let us begin our service. If you have a chalice there at home, such a lovely thing to have. Some people light them at their dinners, I understand. You can light it right now along with us here. These words come from UU Minister Betts Weinecke. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. With our centering words each week, we draw on the many sources of our living tradition. Today's words are from Learned Hand, the 20th century U.S. American judge and philosopher. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which is not too sure that it is right. As we follow the sound of the bell into silence, we allow ourselves to arrive here fully. Good morning.
I'd like to invite those who are young or young at heart to join me up on this colorful quilt up in the front for our story. We have a story today about a superpower that... Oh! Is that better?
No.
Try again.
Whoa.
You can hear me now. All right. Well, good morning again, and thank you for joining me. Of course, everyone else is welcome to join me up on the colorful quilt now that you can hear me. I have a story today about a superpower that we actually all have. We just forget that we have it sometimes. And this is a superpower that we can use to say no. We can use it to say no to people who are acting unfair or acting unkind. So let's hear about this superpower and remember that we all have it. So this story is called I Can Say No. It's by Jenny Simmons. All right. Do you know I have a superpower? Well, I do. I can't fly, I can't see through walls, and I don't wear a suit or a cape. My superpower is big. It's hard to come by. It doesn't make me invincible, but it gives me control of my life. You see, I learned a little word, and even though it's small, when I use it with authority, I'm the strongest of them all. It may seem simple or easy at first, but trust me, it's hard to utter this word. Okay. So you want to know, what's the 2-letter word that makes me grow? What do you think it is? No. Excellent. No. N-O. That's right. I can say no. I can say no to a movie I don't like. I can say no if I'm not into riding bikes. I can say no if I want to be alone or if I feel kind of tired and want to stay at home. I can say no, what you're saying is not true. I can say no, I'm not comfortable with the things you do. I can say no, this is my personal space. Please respect me and walk away. Sometimes I feel pressured to cave and give in. I don't want to say yes, but I want to fit in. Let's ditch her at recess, some kids meanly say, but I'm learning to speak up. No, everyone can play. I can say no if I don't have the time, if I'm simply not interested. That's okay, it's fine. I can say no for lots of different reasons, like protecting my heart or the things I believe in. I can use my words if someone looks down on me for the color of my skin or the makeup of my family. I can say, no, there's no room in here for hate, injustice, unkindness, or fear. I can say no to the thoughts in my head that tell me I'm worthless because I messed up again. I can say no. I chose to be brave when quitting seemed easier and when I feel afraid. What did she say on the roller coaster? I can't, no, I cannot. Sometimes in life, we can't say no. It's a bummer, but it's true. Like getting shots or doing homework and chores because mom says we don't live at the zoo. And I never use my no to bully someone or treat others with disrespect. It's not a superpower to be mean or rude, so I keep my no in check. The teacher says, go to class, and she says, yes, sir. What does the boy say? Yeah, whatever. No comes in all shapes and sizes. You can say it loudly or gently with kindness. So they started a no club. You can say it with respect and firmness in your voice. You can practice saying no, so you have a choice. No can even keep you safe when someone tries to hurt you. You can yell no and run away and find a grown-up to protect you. It takes courage to speak up when you see things that are wrong, but every time you say no, you grow a little bit more strong. I don't have to fit in. I don't have to follow the crowd. I don't have to give a reason. I can say it loud and proud. I might let someone down along the way, but I'm letting myself down if I never learn to say, no thank you, no, not now, no way. Thanks for asking, but I'm unavailable today. I'm not interested, but thanks for thinking of me. Saying no means I respect myself and I got dignity. No is a gift. No is my friend. No is my power. No gives me peace within. So listen to yourself to listen to what's true. And remember, no is a superpower in you. So what's the superpower word? What's that word that we just learned about today? No. If you say it backwards, it's on. So thank you for listening to my story. Everyone, please rise now in body or spirit and join us in singing number 16 and the great hymnal, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." And then after the song, I will invite everyone to come with me to religious education.
Blessed be. Let us sing together again. We are going to sing Creative Love, Our Thanks We Give. The music is number 289 in your gray hymnal. And the words are online in your order of service and on the screen. Please rise in body or spirit. Our reading is also something we will share. It's a responsive reading, so the words are going to appear on the screen. And I thought we'd try something. Sometimes, it's the leader and then the congregation, or one half and the other half. How about everybody just pick? Are you in a Roman print mood or you're in an italics print mood? And the people around you might be saying something different, but you'll say the Roman words or the italic words as you see fit. And I think we'll divide up evenly that way. Do you have it there, Kevin? There we go. Called Cherish Your Doubts. You'll find this here in the gray hymnal as well. It's one of the readings at the back, number 650. But let's read it together responsively. Cherish your doubts. Doubt is the key to the door of knowledge. It is the servant of discovery. A belief which may not be questioned binds us to error, for there is incompleteness and imperfection in every belief. Doubt is the touchstone of truth. It is an acid which eats away the false. Let no one fear the truth, that doubt may consume it, for doubt is a testing of belief. The truth stands boldly and unafraid. It is not shaken by the testing. For truth, if it be truth, arises from each testing stronger, more secure. Those that with silence doubt are filled with fear. Their houses are built on shifting sands. But those who fear not doubt and know its use are founded on rock. They shall walk in the light of growing knowledge. The work of their hands shall endure. Therefore, let us not fear doubt, but let us rejoice in its help. It is to the wise as a staff to the blind. Doubt is the attendant of truth. hope your Thanksgiving table wasn't too frightening. Everybody seems to, if they have any family issues, they come out at Thanksgiving. And I think they are all about fear, you know. If Aunt Mabel makes us depressed or angry, what's behind that really is fear. Fear of a country ruled by cruelty and ignorance, by, you know, Aunt Mabel at her worst. So if you stuck it out, well done. And if you needed to excuse yourself, well done too. The illustration, if you saw it on the website for today's service, was a turtle just poking out of the shell. I was thinking how good it is to have a safe place to retreat to when things get too scary. You watch a turtle for a while, you know, they'll draw that head and those feet in, and they'll keep an ear and eye ready so they can see when things are okay, and they'll slowly reemerge. That's a good plan. This is part of a series of sermons, services for 10 services over the course of about 12 weeks, on our benediction, otherwise known as How to Fight Fascism. If you've heard my sermons since the election and you're wondering if all we're going to do is talk to people, don't worry. I realize some of you may be wondering, but aren't we going to punch some Nazis? What courage is involved in just talking when our friends and neighbors are being rounded up and deported, denied crucial medical care, fired from their jobs? Don't we need more than talk? Yes, we may. We probably will. More on that next week and in the weeks to come, though I might not advocate actually punching anyone. And talking really is how we will get to the country we need, the USA we deserve. You can maybe pummel people into voting a certain way one time. But, you know, our country was founded not on might makes right, but on right makes might. And then also, eventually, for things to shift long term, then our true and lasting power has to be in truth, in reaching it together. That's democracy. You also might wonder, as I've been sharing some teachings from this book, and you may know others like it. This one's by David McRaney, How Minds Change. Recommend. The Surprising Science of Belief, Opinion, and Persuasion. Not just clickbait, I did find it surprising and very thought-provoking. So you may listen to what I'm sharing of that and think, isn't this just a clever manipulation that, you know, you could turn people, if just listening to people and giving them the space to reach their own conclusions and asking them a couple questions from your own experience, if that is not enough to change their minds to what you believe, couldn't this go circulating among people who want to turn us all into xenophobic fascist zealots? No, it won't work. And I'll explain why over the course of this sermon. But this bit about courage, talking to people. You know, it takes courage. It takes courage for sure to talk to some people who disagree with us sharply. Aunt Mabel. It takes courage to go into a situation where, as McRaney reminds us, we are facing the fact that we really can't change anyone's mind. People can only change their own minds. We change our own, and other people change their own, or don't. And patiently talking with people as they slowly, gradually, possibly change, that takes guts. You know what's even scarier, though? Being willing to change our own minds. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is Amy going? You are never going to convince me, you may be thinking, I hope you're thinking, that splitting up families is good, that trans people deserve anything but total acceptance, support, medical care, and love. No. Right. Hold fast to what is good, everyone. That's next week's sermon. But here's the thing. One of the things that folks discover, the people who McRaney interviewed discovered, when they have real conversations, whether that's called deep canvassing or motivational interviewing, or my favorite, street epistemology. You don't see those two words together that often. What you discover is that people's values are often, at bottom, the same. Even people who radically disagree. Not always, but far, far more often than, say, the divided election results suggest year after year. And that's why McRaney promotes these approaches. And I will get back to them. But first, what underlies them all is a joint search for the truth. A conversation carried out in hopes of getting closer to the truth, which, as Weston says, is always if he were here in Silicon Valley in 2024, he might call it an iterative process, right? We approach more closely to the truth, and then we realize, oh, I got that wrong, and we decide again, and we change a lot. We may not even know how much we change over our lives, because one of the things that this study of persuasion and change reveals is that people don't even recognize how much we've changed. Even in those 15-minute conversations at people's doorways, like the Leadership Lab does, that he writes about, people can change. It may be 180 degrees, certainly say 90 degrees, and they don't realize that they have changed their beliefs very dramatically from the beginning of the conversation. We have this, handy thing in our minds called consistency bias, and it helps us believe that we're more consistent than we are. But that business of seeking the truth together, not for A to convince B that A is right, or vice versa, but to say, let's try to approach the truth together. Let's try to get closer to it together. That takes courage on everybody's part, because we don't know where the conversation will take us. We don't know where the truth lies yet. That's what we're saying, right? And maybe we'll have to give up some of our beliefs that we cherish, beliefs that connect us to people whom we love, our friends, our family, our communities. We may have to say no, to use the words of the story today. We may have to say no to beliefs that used to make sense to us and have stopped making sense after we examine them some more. And that's hard. It's okay. We can do hard things. And as Unitarian Universalists, we are committed to seeking the truth and living by what we discover. As Weston reminds us, doubt is the attendant of truth. It's a partner of truth. We need it. Just as if we're blind, we might need a cane. It helps us get through our lives. It helps us get to the truth. And even better, and even braver, fellow turtles, remember how I said, you heard this 2 weeks ago if you were here, I said facts aren't usually the key. There are exceptions, but generally speaking, we don't win each other over with new facts. Well, what these methods all do at bottom is they don't focus on the topics of conflict. They don't focus on the subject matter we have in our heads about, this is what I believe about, who's a good president, or what shape is this planet, or, what I should do with my investment money, or whatever decisions we make. They don't focus on topics, they focus on techniques. So that when you're having one of these conversations with somebody with whom you might sharply disagree, you're not focusing on their conclusions, not on what they think, but their techniques, how they got there. This is really, really powerful, because we don't do it all that much, and we don't do it together, and we especially don't do it in times of conflict. And if we really want to have a strong democracy that resists fascism and all other threats to it, the better we think, the better our chances. What's scary and promising about focusing on techniques instead of topics is that when we ask someone sincerely about their technique, when we find out what they think and we say, not in a gotcha kind of way, in an actual curious way that they trust is actual and curious because we've built some rapport, we ask them, what made you reach that position? How'd you get there? This encourages them to share their story, their logic that they might never have even looked at before, because we're all walking around with all sorts of opinions, and we often don't know. Why do I think that? And together you can dig down to some really interesting stuff. And while deep canvassing or motivational interviewing and so on tend to be kind of one way, I'm going to do the questioning and the listening, this is your time to talk. There may be also a time for me to share a little bit. Oh, well, this is how I got to my position. Not to argue, just to say, oh, yeah, I also have a story. And when you share yours, it's scary because we may realize that our reasons, they're not what we thought they are. They're not as solid as we thought they were. And the other thing, and this is what's really promising about these conversations. Well, one thing that's promising is we may discover better reasons. You keep digging. You say, oh, is that my real reason? Oh, try it. It gets really deep. It goes to really deep places. But it also leads to values. Why do I think that? Well, I really care about the future of my family. I want my kids to be able to find jobs in this country, and preferably right around here where I live. And then you can really get into it. Well, everybody agrees on that, right? We get, sometimes remarkably quickly, to shared values. Oh, we're having this really rough conflict because you feel like I'm trying to take your kids' future living away. And when we start talking about values, no, I share those values. Not only do I think that's a good value for you to have, to care about your kids' future, I care about your kids' future. What about that? Even though clearly we have different ideas in our heads of how to get there. But those are future conversations. I'm not saying everybody's going to end up in the same place politically, but we can talk and we can understand better how we get from our values to our conclusions. When we start to say, how did I get there? Oh, someone else who has the same values got to a different conclusion. That's interesting. Tell me about your process. Oh. This is why these processes are not very good at turning people into xenophobic fascist zealots. Because their values very, very seldom allow it. And because, here's a statement of faith on my part, xenophobia and fascism are never based in truth. If you come to the truth, that's not where you're going to end up. You might not think, just as your neighbor thinks, about immigration policy or whatever. but it won't be driven by hatred. It won't be driven by fear. That would be progress, wouldn't it? Should it surprise us that what requires courage is also what promises the greatest reward? It's so often the case. So let us be of good courage and reap the rewards together. Oh, friends, imagine going through these hard times without each other, without this community. It is so wonderful that we have UUCPA and the wisdom and love and humor and courage of the people who gather here. And you know, even the people in this community who have never set foot inside these doors, they are also lucky that this community is here to send us forth being a little bit better members of our wider community. When we're moved by gratitude to each other, we may choose to support with whatever financial resources we can. This community that nurtures us in our own hard times and helps us to realize our vision for ourselves, our families, and the world. You can use cash or check or the QR code or text info in the order of service to give whatever you are inspired to give as we now receive our offering. Thank you, thank you. Now let us sing together. Oh, you're not done at the piano, Stephen. Wake now, wake now my senses. It's number 298. If you want to look in the gray hymnal, the words are up on your order in your online order of service or on the screen. Please rise in body or spirit, and we'll sing all the verses.
Feel the
we extinguish our chalice with words from Eric Williams. The world is too beautiful to be praised by only one voice. May you have the courage to sing your part. The world is too broken to be healed by only one set of hands. May you have the courage to use your gifts. May you go in peace. Everyone, before we begin our benediction, I want to remind you that we love to stay for some greeting time and conversation after the service. The Zoom room will remain open, and I encourage you to use greeting time to get to know somebody you haven't met before or haven't seen in a long time. And of course, this is a great time to put on your video if you're online so we can all see each other. You can even do a little touching hands this way. Here in this space, we'll touch hands however we're comfortable and rise and say together these words.